first and only student-run sports debate show. I'm Alan Wagner, the sports editor at The Daily, and I will be moderating between Daily sports writer Christian Caple and HuskyCast videographer Helena Habes. The format of the program is simple. Each round will consist of a question from the realm of sports. Questions will range from local to state to collegiate and on to national sports topics. After each question, I will award a point to one panelist based on the quality of their argument. Whichever panelist has the most points by the end of the debate will have a 1 minute and 30-second time period to speak their mind on whatever subject they like, uninhibited by their opponent or by me. In the case of a tie, whichever panelist can provide a better reason to be awarded the closing will be declared the winner. With that said, let's begin. Christian, are you ready?
I am.
Helena, are you ready?
Yes.
And your first question is, after starting the season 0-5 and going 11 of 30 in his tenure at Washington, Tyrone Willingham will likely be fired soon. But who would hire him after 4 straight losing seasons at UW? Christian, you can begin.
Well, I think that's an interesting question, and I think a better question would be, does he want to keep coaching after this? Because you've seen him go from having success at Stanford to being fired from Notre Dame to being fired from Washington, so he's been at 2 pretty high-profile programs where he's failed. He's getting up there in years. His son's graduated from high school here. He really has no roots in the community anymore, so I think if I were him, I would say, I'm going to take my $1 million buyout and go retire somewhere where I don't have to put up with the boosters or angry alumni who won't shut up about how terrible of a job I'm doing.
I think that Tyrone has done a good job with the program. I think that a lot of recruits come to this program for him, and I think that he attracts a lot of people who want to play for a great coach. I do not think that he's had the success that will keep him around here, even if they were to finish out incredibly well with the rest of the season. I think that it is time for him to go, but definitely not mid-season, and if he wants to keep coaching.
I'll award the point to Helena. She made a better argument than Christian. Sorry. Okay, move on. And the second question. The University of Washington and Washington State are Pac-10 bottom feeders and 2 of the worst teams in college football. Will we be able to win the Apple Cup and avoid the shame of being the worst team in the nation? Helena, you can start.
I think we will be able to win the Apple Cup. I think that we have a better shot when we are playing away games, and I think especially with Washington State having their only win against Portland State, someone we could certainly beat. Though they are ahead of us right now in wins, I think that undoubtedly will win the Apple Cup.
After watching the Huskies the last 2 weeks, I'm uncomfortable saying that they could beat Bellevue High School. This team is just terrible beyond any kind of description. I mean, if anything, you're looking at Washington right now as that high school team who gets killed by everybody, who is pointing to that one game on their schedule that's saying that's the one we can win. That's WSU right now.
I think that Washington State is doing that as well. I'm saying that so far in their schedule upcoming, all they have is Washington. For what they're thinking.
Yeah, by then they'll have Kevin Lopina back. You know, he can throw the ball a little better.
Jake Locker at a different position.
He'll have Jake. Jake Locker's not going to play a different position. He's going to come back as a quarterback with a broken thumb that won't be healed all the way, and will probably still continue to struggle.
Okay,
in the pocket.
it's good. I'll award the point to Christian for that W High School reference. That was pretty good. Okay, on to the third question. After a fairly convincing comeback over Oregon on Saturday, can USC win the Pac-10? Christian?
USC will win the Pac-10. There's no question about it. Oregon is playing their 3rd, 4th, 5th string quarterbacks. I think they might be moving a receiver to quarterback soon. I don't know. They're running out of guys. They are probably the 2nd best team in the conference, but there's just nobody else who's going to play with USC. USC does this every year. We've seen this 3 years in a row now. They go down, they lose to someone they shouldn't, and then they take it out on everybody for the rest of the year. I think USC is still the best team in the country, definitely in the Pac-10.
I think USC is definitely the best team in the Pac-10, but I wouldn't take out Oregon State. I think that with Jacquiz and James Rogers and Lyle Moiveld being a very good quarterback and them putting up a fight against USC, I think that we're going to see a lot from them this season. That, you know, their win against USC might be all they needed.
Now, Oregon State's still got a lot of tough road games left on their schedule, and they just aren't the kind of team that, you know, and that finishes games like that. Lyle Moivau is he's good enough to beat a team like USC once at home, but I don't see Oregon State closing out strong.
Okay. Sorry, man. You got to make sure you get those points in before I say okay. So I'm going to give the point to Helena for showing exceptional knowledge about Oregon State. Fourth question. 6'3", 222 pounds, bionic arms, Jake Locker. How hot is he? When we can start.
I would say recently with the cast, the level of hotness would appear to have gone down.
Jeez.
As far as being a great student and being an athlete and being the total package, I think that he's a great guy, but I think that the cast might hurt his game a little bit.
How hot is Jake Locker? Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?
No.
I thought this was a sports
Christian,
show.
be honest. If you say what you feel, we know what you're thinking.
My you can have the point on this one. My professionalism will not allow me to answer this question.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, very well. Point to Helena.